This weekend, I-28M was hit by a sudden and unforeseen bombshell by my fiancée 27F. As I was leaving my home to out with my friends, she arrived back from a friend's wedding. I couldn't make it to the previous night. This is in a different town, a ways from where we live, so she got a hotel room knowing she wouldn't be driving home after drinking. As I was walking out her front door, she had a very grim and terribly saddened look on her face when she said, "I need to talk to you." Now, at this point in time, I was loading up golf bags with my friends as it was my closest and admittedly pretty much only friends last weekend in town before he moved a few states away for work. So I followed her inside, where she told me the previous night after the wedding she had made out with an old high school friend after getting blackout drunk. I was ready to go out with my friends for a fun-filled day of golf and laughter, and as she started to cry begging for forgiveness, I was not in a mindset or mood to fully grasp what all just had been happening, so I hugged her and said I would speak with her later. Now I am a pretty forgiving person and not one shy of doing stupid, regretful shit while far too intoxicated, included Facebook messaging a girl I had met downtown one night very early in our relationship. Nothing came of it, and she had forgiven me for that. However, all afternoon, all I could think about is what she told me and whether or not she had told me the whole truth. She had told me before I left she had lost her phone at the wedding. And when I was hugging her, I noticed that she had recently taken a shower. The wedding was an hour or so from our house, and her hair was still quite wet, making me think she had taken a shower to attempt to rinse off the regret from the night before. Also, even though she is a very emotional human being, she was extremely remorseful, putting a thought in the back of my mind that perhaps she didn't make it back to her hotel room that night, forgetting her phone at the place she stayed, and there was more to her story. When I got back home, I sat her down to talk again, and the first thing I asked was how she knew her and the man she was with only made out. And the only thing she could tell me is she had no memory of that part of the night, and had taken his word for it the next morning that is all they did. Then I asked her where she had slept that night. The response that she gave me is the only reason I'm writing this and not already working things out with her. She said she had spent the night at his house. Now I've been with this woman for 7 years now, so I haven't taken anyone home from a wedding or bar in quite some time, but I know there hasn't been a time when that has happened with me where we just made out. She began sobbing harder at this time and begged forgiveness, saying there is nothing she wouldn't do to take it back and would do absolutely anything to make it right, even though she knows she can't. I told her the only way I was going to forgive her is if she gave me the man's name and he would verify with me that all they did was kiss. She complied immediately, and I sent him a Facebook message. He replied within the hour saying everything she said was true, and they didn't take anything farther than kissing. We live in a small community, so I know who this person is, but I've never actually met him. I can't see why either of them would lie about this, but then again, I also couldn't see my fiancé breaking my trust to make out with a high school friend either. So Reddit, what I'm asking is, should I take both of them at their words and start mending our relationship? Even if we do fix things the best we can, I cannot help but think of the trust and most importantly, the intimacy that she took from us in that one stupid drunken decision. Is it possible for me in the future to think of her while we're together at night and not think of what she whispered into this other man's ear that night, that she forgot about me and our relationship and chose him, even if they never went all the way? Any and all advice is welcome. My heart and stomach have never felt as heavy as they have the last couple days. I can't eat or sleep, and this has consumed my every thought. Thanks in advance, Reddit.